Hey, Adam Hooksema here from ProjectionHub, and in this video, I'm going to answer which SBA lenders have the lowest interest rates on their SBA loans. So I was actually surprised when analyzing the publicly available SBA loan data, how much difference there is in terms of interest rates between different lenders and different industries and different types of loans. And so what we did is we took the publicly available SBA 7A loan data. The SBA publishes this in a big spreadsheet. It has like 100,000 rows with a whole bunch of loan data for every SBA 7A loan. And we took that over the last roughly 5 or 6 years and got that into this dashboard that allows us to sort and filter the data in a bunch of different interesting ways, and allows us to also see the average interest rate over the last 12 months. So what the SBA publishes in their data set is the interest rate that the lender charged at the outset of the loan. So a lot of the loans are variable interest rate loans. And so it actually doesn't make a whole lot of sense to look back any further than the last 12 months. We really want to look at, the most recent data. What are the interest rates that they're charging now? Because that's going to be most useful. So we're looking at this in 2026 right now, and I'm going to show you how to sort and filter and use this tool. We'll put a link in the description of the video below so that you can use this tool for free as well and find a good lender. And then, a lot of what you're going to find is that it depends on your particular industry, location, state, that sort of thing. So let me show you how this works. So the first thing I want to draw to your attention, so right here, this average interest rate over the last 12 months, this is what we're looking at. So we can see this is just sorted by the top lenders in terms of approved number of loans. So Huntington, by far the top lender, and this is looking at loans from January of 2019 through the end of 2025, but it's looking at the interest rate from the loans made in the last 12 months. So really just looking at 2025 interest rate data. Now we can see Huntington 9.62%, on the high end. This is actually really surprising to me. JP Morgan Chase 12.09%. I'm really surprised that they're so high, but they may make very small SBA loans with more of an automated process for some of their clients and price that at the high end of the market. So that was kind of interesting to me. But let's start by looking at industry. So if we wanted to see, let's look at how interest rates change based on the industry. So I'm going to look at offices of dentists because I know lenders love making loans to dentists. So when I sort by this, here's what we're going to see. Remember, we were seeing 9% mostly or higher. Now we're seeing, look at Huntington here. Their average was, I think, 8 or 9%. Now it's 6.98% for dentists. Wells Fargo at 5.85% average for dentists. Bank of America, you can see. So you can also now sort by whether it was a startup or an acquisition. So if we want to look at acquiring an existing dental office, so let's look at change of ownership here. We can see what our rates are. If we want to look at just startups, so let's look at just startups and see how that changes things. We're not seeing things really jump out at me necessarily between dental offices just in general are going to be lower cost interest rates than what we see with other industries. Now let's look at restaurants. Full service restaurant, typically considered a high risk industry. We can see, there's no interest rates in the 5s or 6 or 7s, nothing even until you get to 8.34 is the lowest rate. And we can look at, this is looking at just startup restaurants. Let's look at all restaurants. We're seeing 9s, 10s, 11s. You can see industry makes a big difference. You'd be finding this, there's a whole list of industries here. You can pick your particular industry. We're going to look at maybe HVAC contractors are pretty hot, especially with acquisition space right now. See HVAC acquisition loans in the 9s mostly. You see Old National Bank here showing up as 8.3. So they're a lender I've done some work with, and they tend to have lower interest rates. So this is really interesting and useful. I hope that you're able to play around with this. And then, so a lot of what is going to ultimately determine what kind of interest rate you're going to get is your personal financial strength as well, and the strength of the business that you are either, already operating, starting, or acquiring. And so really what you're going to find is that you may just not qualify for the lowest interest rates because maybe if your credit score is not where it needs to be. That's going to have an impact. What is the collateral on the deal? That's going to have an impact. And so we offer a free SBA review. I'll put a link in the description of the video below. You can fill out that form. It'll ask you a few questions, and I can give you some feedback and say, hey, yeah, this is, you're in a great situation. You're going to be able to be competitive, and, you're going to have a chance at some of the lenders that offer the lowest interest rates, and here's who I would recommend for that. Or, I might say, hey, this is a really tough deal. I don't know if anyone's going to do it. Or maybe here's a deal that we think we could get done, but you're probably just in the higher risk range of business for whatever reason. And because of that, you're probably going to be looking at lenders who lend at the higher range of interest rates. So it all depends on your situation, but hopefully this tool is helpful for you. And if you have any questions or want to reach out, feel free to email me at support@ProjectionHub.com. And yeah, my background, I spent 12 years as an SBA lender myself, closed about 1,500 loans. And now what we do is help folks through the process of going through the SBA process, helping with projections and business plans to be able to help you find a good lender that's going to be able to get your deal done and help you through that process. So we'd love to hear from you, see if we can help. All right, thanks.